Today on the show, I am joined by someone who embodies what it means to take personal challenges and turn them into a powerful purpose. I'm talking about Melissa Coulier. Now, Melissa's story is incredible. After being diagnosed with lupus in her 20s, she reimagined her life from the inside out, transforming her health, becoming pain-free and medication-free, and using that experience to inspire her mission of helping others. Today, through Live Well, Lead Well, Melissa now leads retreats, corporate workshops, and coaching programs designed to prevent burnout, build resilience, and create space for women to live and lead with clarity. She's doing all of this by the side of her husband and the funniest uncle in America, Dave Coulier, also known as Uncle Joey on Full House. This past fall, Dave himself was diagnosed with cancer, and Melissa supported him with the same holistic approach that she shares with her clients. In this episode, we are diving into that entire journey. After knowing Melissa for a couple weeks, I can tell you she is just an incredibly kind advocate for others. This episode is going to leave you feeling inspired with tangible takeaways to take charge of your own health. I'm really excited to hear what you guys think. Melissa Coulier, welcome to Water Your Garden.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited you're here. I've admired you from afar for a long time, not to be creepy.
Likewise, I just told you I've been seeing your face on Instagram for years.
I'm glad someone was seeing my newsreels. I worked very hard at those, so those make me feel good.
Yeah, no, it was great. Coverage was always something interesting. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
For those who have not been lately stalking you, like myself, I would love to start off at the very beginning of your career and journey. So you started your career as a professional photographer. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
Yeah, photography was something I always wanted to do from a very young age. I was 11 when I got my first camera, and I was like, I'm going to be a famous photographer. And that was, had that focus from such a young age. I would spend like hours in the grocery store aisles, like thumbing through magazines. This is long before social media, so we weren't seeing anything there online. And I was always like so curious, like how does someone shoot this imagery? Or like seeing a billboard, I'm like, who's doing that? Mm-hmm. Because I came from a very small town in Montana, 7,000 people, and the only photographers that were there was like one wedding photographer who did senior portraits as well, right? So I was like, okay, that was the only example I had, but I was so curious of like, how do you get to that next level? Mm-hmm. And so I went to college for photography in Spokane, Washington, studied abroad in Florence, Italy, and that's kind of opened my eyes to the fact of like, oh, there's fashion photographers, there's portrait photographers, celebrity photographers, advertising, and like there's this huge world of photography out there that anything is possible. Yeah. And so moved to LA. And
what was that like coming from a small town in Montana?
Yeah, a huge culture shock, but in the most exciting way because, you know, I'm 21 and
it's a dream, right?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So just worked my way up through the industry as, you know, a photo assistant, as a digital tech, a producer for digital capture, and then eventually went on my own as a photographer and worked 1,000, free jobs and built the portfolio, and, you know, you just do the grind. Mm-hmm. Then I started booking advertising jobs where I was getting paid well and shooting celebrities that I never thought I would come in contact with. And I was actually making a living at it. And I was like, I made it. This is it, you know? And so I had worked so hard to get to that point, and it's so competitive in LA. Like everybody is in
everyone's doing the same things.
Yeah. And every industry in LA is so competitive because everybody comes there for that industry, right? Mm-hmm. The creative industry. So I would do event production on the side and do all these other things just to kind of like support the overall goal and dream. I started a production company with my brother. At the time, he was a videographer. And so we started a company called Bring Media. Bring is my maiden name.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so we, you know, shot commercials for Nike, and we did photo and video for large clients and worked with Vogue, and a lot of really well-established companies that I'm really proud of now in retrospect. I think during, you know, you're such in the grind, you're like,
I do.
you're doing it and you're like, wait, but I need to get to that next milestone, or, oh, so-and-so
Right.
just shot 3 billboards or a movie poster. And that was always the goal, to get bigger, better, bigger, better. And now in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, you were doing just fine. You were doing good, sis.
Just Miley Cyrus. It's The Climb.
Yeah, exactly.
I still love that song.
It's a great song.
Do you have a shoot, like looking back on that crazy career, that chapter of your life, is there a shoot that stands out to you that was really cool?
Oh my gosh, there's so many that
I know when people ask me about news stories, people always say like, what was your favorite news story? And I go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pick one, but if you had to try to pick just one of them.
Okay, so I was doing a shoot for Vogue for
Amazing.
We were shooting McKenna Grace, who is now, she's like in everything. She was pretty young at the time and in a ton of stuff, a rising star. And we did a Charlotte's Web themed shoot. So we went to a farm sanctuary where we photographed her next to like cows with
Wilbur?
Pigs. Oh yeah.
Isn't that right? Wilbur?
Yeah, Wilbur. Yeah. So I'll have to send you some of them. But to this day, that shoot, just in general, like everything was so magical. The team that came together, like just elevated the shots. The lighting was perfect.
Yeah.
And she was so like excited to be around all the animals. She's such an animal lover. So it just like everything just was right. The whole day went perfect.
That's the best feeling.
And those images are still like some of my favorite.
I don't know about you. I find this with a lot of people who work in those kinds of industries. I like remember the first couple of times I was just on a set of any nature. Like I worked in commercials to help pay for some of my college. I started working in TV. Now we have this amazing set, courtesy of my husband for the podcast.
Yeah, this is great.
Thank you. And just like the energy of being on a set. Do you feel that? I just feel like it's one of the best things.
I do. I love it.
Yeah, I just love it. I think it's so cool.
I do too.
So you had this incredible career as a photographer, and then now we know that you have this amazing career in the world of wellness. What was that transition like? How did you make that pivot?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with lupus early on in my career as a photographer. Suffered from really bad like chronic pain, inflammation in my body, migraines. And as you know, in a competitive field, you just kind of like push through everything. So rather than trying to discover the root cause at the time, I spent 10 years medicating and suppressing my symptoms and really having this like horrible battle with my mind and body of like resentment. I can't believe that this is happening to me. Yeah. I'm so young. And it took a while for me to kind of get to this point of like, I can't continue to live like this. I can't be working these hours, putting my body through this and trying to mask all of this with medication or substance or whatever. So my husband, Dave Coulier, he is an actor and was on the set of Fuller House. And he said to me one day, he came home and he was like, oh, there's a girl in production that I think you'd be really great friends with. So he set me up on a little friend date.
Oh, that's cute.
So cute.
It's very thoughtful of him.
Yes, with my now business partner, Melanie Samuels. But we went on this hike and I was telling her a little bit about my journey as a photographer, but then my pain in my health battle. So she was transitioning, unbeknownst to me, out of production and into holistic wellness. So she was becoming a holistic nutritionist.
Wow.
And she was like, would you be my first client and would you be willing to try using food as medicine? And I was like, yeah, I mean, why not, right?
Mm-hmm. Were you into wellness before that? I mean, would you consider yourself
wellness in the sense of like a basic understanding of I work out, try to eat well, but not the best. You know, it's like, yeah. I think there's not to the extent, obviously, that I am now.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Your career. Yeah.
I did not live and eat, breathe wellness.
Yes.
First of all, high stress job, all of the things.
Yeah.
So I started doing everything that she said. I think her approach to me was so unique because I, of course, like everyone during, 90s and early 2000s, you're going on whatever diet fad is the thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then it works for 2 weeks and then you fall off and then it doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. And so her approach was small changes that are consistent with an 80-20 change. So it's 80% of the time. Yeah.
I always tell people,
Yeah.
like I actually see every day as 80-20.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I just love
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
So 80% of the time, nourishing your body with real whole foods. And then, that other 20% is indulging, but indulge with a positive mindset instead of a guilt-ridden mindset.
Yes.
And it was just an approach I hadn't heard before. It was like, she also had this bio-individuality approach of eat what's best for your body, not what anyone else is doing.
Right.
And so for me, it was the first time I'd ever kind of looked at, well, what is right for my body? And then started being the detective of my own body and realizing tomatoes make me inflamed. And, refined sugar, that's the trigger for my migraines. And so all of a sudden I started putting these pieces together and then eliminating from things out of my life. 3 years after working together, I was off all 8 medications. I was rarely going to the doctor. And at the time of my, the height of my flare-ups, I was probably getting steroid injections every other month.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I was in complete shock and awe, and then started to realize, I actually have the power to control and make myself feel better. Does anyone else know this? Because I feel like I need to tell everyone.
Wait, you guys, we can control some of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was the most eye-opening thing that's ever happened to me. And at the time we were talking about leaving LA and moving to Michigan. And so, I was kind of thinking should I make this leap into the wellness space? Should I stay here? I'm also just built this career, and it has taken me since my childhood dream of 11. I've been fighting for this career.
We have a lot in common.
And it was really hard. I grieved. I almost resisted it so much because I was I can't just let go of something that I have clawed my way to making.
And something you're so good at.
Thank you. And so that was really difficult. So it was kind of a slow burn transition. And even though I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do, then COVID hit. We moved to Michigan and no one knew me. No one knew my career. No one knew anything about me. And Melanie and I were just talking one day and we were like, let's partner up and let's help some women, especially during this time when there's the need and everybody's kind of seeking to learn more about their health. So I became a function first pain-free movement specialist. I know it's a mouthful, even for me.
I'll let you say it.
Yeah. A brain health trainer and a senior fitness trainer specialist because I was overconditioning my body. And that was kind of the missing piece of my healing was I was still kind of having inflammation here and there, or I'd do a workout, a HIIT class, and I'd be exhausted. I'm why do I feel like I need to eat a burger and take a 2-hour nap?
Yeah.
And so for me, I really wanted to learn how can I take more control of my actual being and slow my body down, get mind-body connection back into my life to really transform the way that I move. And that was more of functional fitness, slowing my body down and moving for me rather than what's trendy.
Okay, we could talk about this so much. I have so many questions. I'm going to start on the fitness because you were just there and because I relate. I know HIIT workouts, I've been working out. I did tennis competitively growing up, so I've been in conditioning since I was 7, 8. And I choose not to do a lot of HIIT or cardio because other people say when they finish, they're like, oh, I just feel so great. You work so hard and I get this high. And I don't feel that way. I feel really tired, really hungry, and I feel like I just slammed my body around. So you say that you focus on functional fitness.
Yeah.
What is that? Pilates, yoga, walking?
Yeah, so functional fitness is using exercises that mimic your everyday activities.
Oh.
So squats, for example, are helping you get up and off the toilet seat, right? Things that we do
I've heard that a lot
multiple
lately.
times a day.
Yeah.
Lunges, jump ropes, ankle stability, just different movements that actually train the body's muscles to combat your everyday living in a really healthy way, to become stronger, more resilient.
Yeah.
And that leads to, healthy brain matter, which leads to longevity and other things.
You also talked about finding the foods that weren't good for your
Yeah.
body specifically.
Yeah.
How did you go about that? Was it trial and error? Were you able to take a blood test? What was your process?
Yeah, so I did a 60-day elimination first of no gluten, no dairy, no sugar, and kept it all very much whole real food.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so no processed food, no alcohol, no caffeine,
Oh,
no,
wow.
yeah,
You really went
no
for
nothing.
it,
Yeah.
as you should.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, it's hard, but it
Mhm.
was honestly harder living in pain than it was harder for like a short
Yes.
period of time to figure out what works so that you can spend the rest of your life in a body you appreciate.
That's the way to do it.
And so then once I did that, I started adding certain things back in. And if it felt okay, I was like, great. And if it didn't, I knew that that was going to be something that was going to be eliminated. So gluten, sugar are the big ones that, for me, certain nightshade foods caused inflammation.
What's a nightshade food?
So like a tomato or eggplant.
Oh, I eat a lot of tomato, and I am constantly, I feel like, battling inflammation myself. Like I have rosacea and just other symptoms. And I've heard about tomatoes. Maybe I should cut them out. I have been leaning more into matcha for a long
Yeah.
time now. I feel like that helps with my inflammation. What do you think? Like, what are things that help with inflammation for you?
So for me, definitely avoiding gluten has been a huge part of that journey. Avoiding sugar, refined sugar. So it's just substituting for like a coconut sugar or honey, like pure honey, pure maple syrup, or dates. Dates are great to.
I've been wanting to
cook
get more into
Okay.
dates.
They are undervalued food. They
I
are
feel
super.
like they are. I
love
just
them.
never think to buy them, but you're saying we should.
Okay, I think you should.
Okay.
And the best like little snack as a date. So especially if you like candy bars or anything like that, I know you're gonna some people are gonna be like laughing like this is not the same, but trust me,
I hate
it will.
candy, so
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So opening a date, putting some almond butter in there with a little like
Yum.
melted, cacao, chocolate.
yeah,
Yeah.
done.
And then
We
like
gotta
throw them
make
in
that.
the freezer. Yeah.
Okay, you've sold me. Actually, it's a long weekend. I feel
See,
like
there
I
you
could
go.
tackle that.
And that's like a really easy one, right?
Yeah.
It's just 3 ingredients and like it's not too complicated. Yeah.
So you and Melanie Samuels,
Yes.
you start Live Well, Lead Well.
Mhm.
You talk to us a bit about the company. Like, what are you guys doing on the weekly, monthly? How can people learn about it and benefit from what you're doing?
Yeah. So Live Well, Lead Well is a holistic wellness company with a focus on mindset, nutrition, and movement in order to make you the best leader for your body. And we have on the weekly, we send out a weekly subscription, or if you're a membership, weekly we send out, an email of the week list of things that you can do, like exercises.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, different mindset exercises and recipes. And then we also have a Substack, so we have a lot of articles there on different things that we've been published in. We were just published in the USA Today. We've had, thanks.
That's awesome.
Thanks. We write a monthly article for Scene magazine, actually.
Oh, cool.
And so we have a partnership with the V Foundation. So we travel with them doing their like Epicurean weekends. There are these 3-day weekends to help raise money for cancer research. We come in and teach movement classes and then sometimes do seminars, or we do like these hydration stations just to like bring mocktails into the mix and show you
fun.
how functional mocktails can be so healthy for your body, and it doesn't always have to be, a party and consuming alcohol. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that mocktails are just going to start getting bigger and bigger. Because I feel like that I've seen a big shift in people becoming more interested in that and ways to incorporate things non-alcoholic in that atmosphere.
Yeah, the sober curious mindset is like, I feel like rapidly growing.
Yes, I feel like I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to talk about your family life a bit.
Okay.
So you are married to America's funniest uncle. I coined that when I was writing these questions.
Yeah.
I think people call him that as well. Uncle Joey from Full House,
Yeah.
Dave Coulier. Can we talk about how the two of you met?
Yes.
Okay, how did you guys meet?
We met in Montana. So he was on a boys' trip. Actually, I just kind of gotten out of a relationship. All of his buddies were like, we're going to go to Montana where apparently there's no women. We're going to hunt, fish, and, play hockey.
But you're there.
But here I am. So yeah, they come to the restaurant that I was working at the time from the airport.
Mhm.
So it wasn't even 20 minutes he had been landed that we meet, right?
Wow.
So yeah, I had just come back to Montana, applying for jobs in LA and New York for photography, just saving money. And I was waitressing at a restaurant called The Bay. They came in and they were like the last table of the lunch hour.
Mhm.
My parents were there. They were my table.
Oh, that's very
Yeah,
sweet.
I mean, pretty crazy. I walked by him to sign. I was signing out of my shift, and this is before, you would sign out on a computer. And I had a pen in my hand because I was just like going to the binder where you like physically sign out yourself out of the timesheet.
Okay.
And I was walking by him and I accidentally hit him with my pen. It flipped out of my hand as I was like twirling it.
Mhm.
And we just started bantering and he was like, yeah, you walk by me again, I'll trip you. I was like, haha, cute. Walk back by, he trips me. I fall.
No.
Yeah. And then
Wait, I think that's very true to character.
yeah, it's very 9-year-old behavior.
Yes.
Pull a girl's hair, chase her on the playground.
I'd love to be tripped by my husband.
Yeah.
I think that's so cute.
And he did pick me up. That was the nice thing, gave me a hand up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so you fell?
Fell.
Did you
I did
fell?
not
You face
hurt
planted?
myself. I mean, I tripped forward. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But
It
you
was
didn't
like a
fall
fall.
on the ground.
No.
Okay, I feel like that's a little.
Yeah.
I mean, a nice meet cute, I guess.
Yeah.
You're not
I
gonna
guess.
forget that.
It's original, that's for sure. Yeah. So
Hurt you a little, pick you up.
Yeah. I went over to my parents' table and I was like, this is so weird, but I feel like I have this like intense energy with this person. And I point him out. My mom's like, that guy looks exactly like Dave Coulier. And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, why would he be in Montana? I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So I am standing over at the bar doing something, and he comes over and he was like, hey, can you show me where the restroom is? I was like, yep, it's that way. He comes back. He was like, oh my gosh, those images are amazing on the wall. And I was like, yeah, they're trash. I was like, I don't know. I actually think that your eyesight's bad. Like, these are terrible photos. He's like, no, I love them. And he goes back to them and reads the artist statement. And he was like, they're yours. He was like, I can't believe that he's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. So then that was like
Wait,
another.
they were your
Yeah.
photos?
Yeah.
This
I
is
know.
amazing.
Yeah.
This is actually a movie.
So then I know, should we write this for Hallmark?
I think you guys
we need to
should.
trademark this right away.
You
Yeah.
know, I feel. Wait, is this
So-
not the cutest meet cute ever?
So then he was like, you should come out tonight with my friends and I. And I lied to him and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I have 4 kids. Like, if I can find a babysitter, I will.
This is a movie.
And he was like, okay, no problem. And like, just like test after test, I was like, this guy's like kind of like so kind about everything. Like, there's no judgment, there's no nothing. He's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
find a babysitter, let's go,
Wow.
And so we hung out for a week straight, never exchanged phone numbers, nothing. And then
How were you guys hanging out if you didn't have phone numbers for each other?
yeah, we would just say, hey, do you meet at this place or go here? And like, how you used to, and people actually just show up.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
you hear what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah.
You understand
Yeah.
like how unbelievable
So
this story
his phone
is.
was taken away from his friends because of this breakup they're trying to get him out of, right?
If you don't make this movie,
I know. So then we, this is a very long story. You were not anticipating this.
no, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
It's a rom com. I feel like I'm hearing a movie script. Please
Yeah.
keep going. Yeah.
So we hung out and I asked his buddy after we dropped him off at the airport, hey, can I get his phone number? And he goes, so he had my phone number from his friend's phone. So I knew that he had mine. And he was like, no, if he didn't want you to have, like, he would have given it to you if he wanted you to have it. And my heart was broken. I was like, I thought I had
Oh
just
my
met my
gosh.
soulmate. Like, my mom always said, like, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew. Like, this is my moment where I'm like, I think I know. And then
Yeah.
I felt like an idiot. I was like, oh my gosh, he probably has a girl in every city. Like, what am I thinking? This is so naive of me. And then a week later, he called and explained the situation of like the breakup, the whole thing, and was like, I don't want to enter into another relationship, but like, I can't stop thinking about you. And I think we should see where this goes. And that was that. Yeah.
You even have like the part near the end of the movie where you're devastated and then he comes back. This is a movie script. You're going to text me next week and be like, gotcha, that was a movie script.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Or I'll text you next week and be like, hey, we sold it.
You need
Yeah.
to. You actually need to. You guys could star in it and everything. I would be lining up for tickets. So you guys decide eventually, you know, you're together for a long time and you decide to move to Michigan.
Yes.
I think this topic is really interesting because a lot of
Yeah.
people are considering Michigan as a home. You're not from here. What did you think originally when Dave approached you? And I'm guessing this is how what meant said he wanted to move back to Michigan.
Yeah. So Dave's originally from St. Clair Shores, Michigan, and he always had this like little boy dream to build a house on the lake. And
too.
Yeah, I think everyone from here, and rightfully
Yeah.
so. I mean, the lake's gorgeous. Like,
So
I
pretty.
mean, it's the best. So at first, I was very nervous, but we had been, you know, traveling to Detroit every year
Mhm.
for and staying here for extended periods of time. His family's all from here, so we had been coming to the area for years, and it was a real culture shock for me in the very beginning because
bet.
of the like creative scene
Mm-hmm.
and and then also the transition of career
Mm-hmm.
and the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I really like
and
hit
it's
it all three.
cold and
Yeah.
dark and you're used to like warm and sunny. That's rough. Your first
Yeah.
winter in Michigan, I'm going to guess, was a little rough.
A little bit, but like, yeah, it was a little rough, but also just because of like life
Mhm.
challenges. Like, yeah, we just kind of had a lot going with like the health of his dad and certain situations that made it rough. So like the weather was such an afterthought, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel very
Yeah.
shallow because I put
No,
so much
fine.
emphasis on how hard the winters are here.
No, they are, but don't feel shallow because it
Thank
is.
you.
Like, yeah.
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 Okay, so you moved to Michigan and you have Live Well, Lead Well.
Yeah.
You talked about, culture shock with the creative scene. Tell me your honest thoughts on this. I know that the creative scene in Michigan is obviously not as mature as LA or New York.
Yeah.
I've always kind of seen it a bit, though, as a superpower for those who are creative here. Because you talked about even earlier, you live in LA and everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But here in Michigan, the pool's a lot smaller. So I
Yeah.
feel like you can be a big fish easier. What has been your experience growing your company here?
Yeah, so it's twofold. So when I first came and was trying to, do work in photography, I think I was used to a certain budget that I was receiving and a certain
I gotcha.
paycheck that I was
Mhm.
receiving for the work that I did,
Yes.
and that wasn't the same here. And then I feel like, and rightfully so, people are proud to hire Detroiters. They are proud to hire Michiganders
Mm-hmm.
to do the work, and which I love. I love that like diehard passion. But as someone who's coming in from the city, I was like
Right.
kind of looked at of like, oh no, we're gonna maybe go with someone local or
But you are local now.
now. But in the beginning,
I gotcha.
you
In
said
the
ask
beginning.
for your
Okay.
hon- I'm
No, I
getting
want the real take. Thank
Yeah.
you. I want the real honest take.
Yeah.
Continue.
But then like as I transitioned into the wellness space and that started growing, it grew rapidly, and I think it's twofold because it was a matter of my passion was so intense to help people, and I think that came through. And before it was like, oh, how do I make a living at this thing where I'm taking photos? It was just came from a very different headspace. And so maybe if I had, the same passion of like the photography, maybe it would have been a little bit different. But I
Yeah.
think that, like I was telling you, it was kind of like leaving this one side of me and then entering into this like passion and how can fuel that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was received much better in the wellness space.
Mhm.
So
You're really good at it. I love
Thanks.
following you.
thanks.
So, piggybacking off of talking about your business and all you've created, when I was researching you for this interview, I came across the Recess Club. Can you tell
Yay.
us about that? What
I'm
it is?
so glad you came across that. And so this is something that stemmed from the fact that I looked around and I was talking to a girlfriend of mine. We were looking around being like, why does it have to cost a membership or a ticket in order to bring women together
Mm-hmm.
to move their bodies.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if I created a space where I had a walking club essentially, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I like to say like it's a hiking club, but there's not so many mountains here. But that's okay. So we're
It's
in
a little flat.
walking,
Yeah.
we're in a little walking club. But the idea stemmed from that and the premise of where did recess go? Like we know that recess is so important for kids to move their bodies in order to take that mental break. It boosts creativity, it boosts focus. And yet, as adults, we've completely cut that out of our everyday. And it's like, well, what if we entered this idea in space where we like actually like sit down for a meal without anything, without eating over a sink, without
Yeah.
having a device or being in front of a laptop,
No
and then move
device.
your body,
Mm-hmm.
like have that recess moment, because it does help the rest of your day in so many ways. And that's kind of where the whole idea came from. And I have huge grand ideas for it, but I wanted to start small with the idea of I'll pick the location, I will do all of the research and send all of the details out, and you can either show up or not, and we meet like once a month.
Wait,
to
this
just
is so
walk.
fun.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been doing this?
So I've been doing it since June.
And how has it been? What was the experience like?
So every single walk's been amazing and great, because it is just like getting together and talking and walking where you're not having to pay for community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it feels different because it is like just authentically, I just want you to think about moving your body and getting together. It's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the impact is so great. Like so many people have made connections on the walk or with one another and stayed in touch. Our first one, I think we had like three of us, and it was like so hot. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I putting people in like positions where this is going to be uncomfortable? No one's going to come back.
No.
But then it was like, it just grew every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's launch and learn.
Yeah.
Just go for it. You have your first one. We were talking about this before you got here. Like, I really am so proud of what Connor and I together have been able to build for this podcast. And I'm like, we wouldn't have the amazing set and lighting and video and like the things that we have now if we hadn't been sitting in our living room like by ourselves figuring it out.
Yeah.
And like your recess concept I know is going to explode, and then you'll have that story of like how you launched. So are you going to try to do this throughout the winter months as well? What's your vision?
Yeah. So through winter, through everything. So maybe that's like, maybe it is out in the snow and in the elements, or maybe that means like walking around Troy Mall. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to just like see how it feels.
I have an idea too. I don't know if you've come across it. Bald Mountain is local to Metro Detroit. I don't know if you know it. It's local to Metro Detroit, and that's a really good hike.
Okay.
So that could be good for you guys going into the fall.
All right.
We really like it. Okay, well, speaking, kind of fall months. Last November, your husband, Dave, was diagnosed with stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I know that cancer, you guys have been open about it, has really devastated his side of the family before. I can't imagine how scary this was for you guys. Like, when I was reading about it, I was trying to imagine myself how I would be feeling like if Connor got that diagnosis and how we would approach it as a couple. Are you comfortable kind of opening up about that time period and what that was like?
Yeah, of course. What specifically do you want to know about it?
I guess
like,
we
there's
could just
so many
start.
things.
I know. And that's how I feel about interviewing you. There's so many things, so many facets. That initial diagnosis, especially knowing how you guys have both experienced cancer within your family before, what was that like for the two of you?
Yeah, I honestly kind of thought that he was like the one that was going to get away without it. Like, I mean, everyone in his family has had some sort of cancer, like with the exception of his brother. But I mean, his mom passed away of it. His sister passed away at 36. His niece passed away at 29. His other sister just finished battling cancer as well. And so it's it's so much that it's one of those things where it's like, even though you know it can happen to you, there's something like inside that you're like, no, but he's already been hit with the wave of hardship.
Yeah.
So there's no way it's coming. And so when it did, obviously it was so devastating, but I think we then also just went into like go mode of what is in our control that we can do to combat everything that he's about to face. So his type of cancer was very aggressive. So we knew right away that he was going to go into chemotherapy. I mean, they started him 3 days after we got the diagnosis. So we knew that it was like going to go quick. Then it was like, I went into deep dive mode of how can we fuel his body? What types of food should we be like staying away from during treatment when his immune system's so low? Because in our house, we eat really well, but at the same time, like, we're having, fresh juice and unpasteurized things. And during your like lows of your immunity, and when your immune system's so low, you want to stay away from those things because it can have bacteria and your system just can't fight it. So we kind of just went through a whole gamut of things. And then it was a matter of like, how can we make his body the most resilient as possible to withstand this treatment? So we really focused on the food element. We focused on movement because even though he was so weak during treatment, we wanted to make sure that like for his mental stability and everything, that he was moving his body, and like playing hockey is really important to him. So trying like when he did have a day where he was feeling okay to like just put on skates and go out on the ice, even if it's just like kind of skating around, not playing, but
But I can imagine how difficult, because what I know from chemotherapy, from experiencing it with people in my family, is what a lot of people know, it is essentially killing you.
Yeah.
So to
They
lace
kill
up
you to
your
bring you
skates
back.
and go outside during that takes so much willpower.
Yeah. And then the mindset. And I think that was the number one component over anything and everything, was staying in a mindset that was like of positivity to get through it. Him and I had very different ways of combating the whole process. For him, he would like call a friend or a buddy. He never ever once, like on the phone, he'd never be like, oh, I'm having a really bad day. Never.
Wow.
He would just call so he could just like laugh and tell stories. That was it. And like for me, I'm like, and I used to tell him, I'm like, you're making everyone think this is a breeze. Like, this is the hardest chapter of our lives. And everyone's like, he sounds really good. He sounds like he's doing
So things
great.
are going well.
Yeah. I'm like, and I like felt like I lived in this like bubble of like delusion. So yeah. And then for me, it was like, I also probably took on way more than like I would do things differently, I'll say, next time.
Well, it's hard because it was your career to be in wellness, and then your husband, your life partner, is going through chemotherapy.
Yeah.
That is a lot on you.
And so I felt responsible to make sure that he was eating everything right and that we were doing everything right. And that, it's that 80-20. And like sometimes it looked like 50-50 in our house on days because it was just like, you know what? I want to make you pizza every single night of like what you're craving. But then at the same time, I'm like, calling Marco's Pizza. I'm like, okay, there's a break at some point here.
Exactly.
But the mindset component. So he just like stayed so positive. He innately kind of has that outlook on life anyway. So it really is helpful.
Such a skill.
And then for me, it was a matter of like, I knew that I hold things so heavy. Like, I'm an empath to the like extreme degree. And so for me, it was like, okay, how can I be strong for him? That means I'm going to go in my car and I'm going to cry maybe for an hour. And then I'm going to come back in the house and be like, all right, what are we doing? Like, what do you want for, today? But during his like really bad moments of neuropathy and muscle spasms, it was a matter of just like, that's where my practice came into play of like the breath work coaching that I do, of using breath work as a pain reliever. And I did a lot of massage and a lot of breath work and a lot
That's
of
interesting.
stuff like that that helped get through those moments.
Can you talk to us about the breath work a
Yeah.
little bit? What you
Yeah.
practiced and maybe, something that we can all incorporate into our own lives?
Yeah. Because I do so much with the cognitive health side of it, I marry the two very deeply. So it's a matter of like when you are breathing, thinking about what's coming into your body and
Mhm.
what's exiting. I'll give what we did with Dave as an example because that's probably the most relatable without going into like heavy breath work into this microphone.
It would be like ASMR.
Yeah.
I think people might like it. But yeah, go ahead.
I would have him just like breathe in healing, and he describes it as like he sees it as color. So like he would breathe in white and then he would exhale brown. And so like you exhale all of the discomfort, all of the
Yeah.
pain. So you narrow in on the actual part of your body that you're feeling discomfort. And if you're at home and you feel safe enough to close your eyes, you can like do this, but just simply closing your eyes, taking an inhale for 4 counts of clarity, healing, and then holding that breath for 2 seconds. And then an exhale of 6 seconds, allowing all of the pain and discomfort to release from that one area that you're focusing in on. And then you do that for 8 to 12 breaths
Mhm.
until you actually feel your nervous system calming down and releasing some of that discomfort.
I just did one, and actually, ironically, breath work is something I've been looking into, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. I hope everyone did that while you were walking us through it. It's crazy how effective that is.
Yeah.
Do you see it almost as a form of meditation a little bit?
Yes, I
Mhm.
do. I also like I see anytime you're getting into your mind body connection, I think that's you're entering into a type of meditative state.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're walking in nature,
Mhm.
and focusing in on that, I think that we sometimes overcomplicate meditation, the word meditation, but
Yeah.
because it is a practice. I mean, there's different forms for sure, and if you can get into a deep meditative state
Mm-hmm.
within yourself for, you know, 5 to 10 minutes to an hour, like that's amazing. And like goals, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. But yeah, that's why I end every one of my classes ends in meditation because the
Mhm.
mind is such a powerful part of our healing, our strength, and our perseverance.
Absolutely. Two things on that note. One thing that has really struck me throughout this interview, you have your story with lupus, and then Dave has his story with cancer. What's really struck me about both you and Dave is how both of you were so strong to never have too much of a victim mentality.
Mhm.
And I think that's so important. I think that's something that all of us can learn from. I try really hard. I naturally am like, anytime something happens, like, woe is me, I can't believe this happened. But it seems as though both of you having the strength to be intentional about your thoughts
Yeah.
made a really big difference in your recovery. True?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I always when I was going through lupus and like trying to get on the other side, I just always thought like there's always someone else that has it way worse than you.
Absolutely.
One
Mm-hmm.
does not negate what you're going through right now,
Mm-hmm.
but why were you given this? Why, like, I was given lupus. I'm helping people find pain, like to live in pain-free bodies. And that is something I never saw.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sometimes it's just like healing to trust the process. I mean, I look at, everything that Dave went through, and now he's, working on this startup that is going to help so many people. And end of day, it's like we're all in this together. So if we're strong enough to go through a certain situation, why wouldn't we take those tools and give someone else that strength?
Mm-hmm. And I do want to highlight too, you talked about Dave doing better today. Can you talk about that? I understand
Yeah.
in the spring after chemotherapy, what was that journey like?
Yeah, so right after chemotherapy, we actually had a really crazy situation where he had ground glass in his lungs, and he was hospitalized
Oh my
for
gosh.
5 days,
Mhm.
and it was pretty bad. And we were kind of like, wait, we just finished,
Yeah.
Um, he unfortunately got a bad infection, and he got on the other side of that. And then, he's just been getting stronger and stronger. And now he's in a place where he's, feeling really great in his body. We did have kind of a scare over the summer. We found another lump. So it's just, it's kind of one of those things where you're like a little bit always on edge of,
Yeah.
could it be? Is it
Mhm.
coming back? But even if it does, I feel like we're in this space where we're like, we've been through it. Now we kind of know what to expect.
Mhm.
And we know how to combat it in a maybe more aggressive, stronger way than we did before, if that's ever the case.
Mhm.
But yeah, right now he's doing really well, and he's got a lot. He's doing so good that he's like traveling all over now, doing
Yeah.
different appearances, and has work. He's
Mhm.
like in Japan and Germany, and him
That's some
and John
travel.
Stamos are going to be doing a show at the Fox Theater on
Ooh, when?
December 28th. So
December 28th, you
yeah,
guys. The holidays will be off
yeah,
work. Okay,
yeah,
that sounds fun.
yeah. So yeah, he's been doing good.
I'm glad to hear it. And once again, you guys, I just got to point it out because one of my big takeaways from this interview so far is mindset. To know that you had that scare and there's always that possibility. And the way that you approach that was talking about how you're more prepared and how you can approach it. It's just such a mindset thing. So, something that all of us can take away from this interview. What are some common habits that you see that you find most detrimental to a person's health? Like a pet peeve. It could be you see a lot of people not sleeping enough. You see a lot of people eating at fast food too much. You see a lot of people drinking too much. What is that for you?
So I don't want to necessarily like shame.
No, don't shame someone. But I mean,
Um,
sometimes you got to be the tough big sister and
yeah.
just say, hey, you need to sleep
So,
more.
I mean, obviously, sleep is a huge
Mm-hmm.
factor. I mean, especially for women, you know, if you can really focus on we focus so much on a morning routine, which is so important, but like I think your night routine is very much equally important, that sleep hygiene.
I've been
And-
working on that a lot.
And quality sleep
Mm-hmm.
is everything in order to make sure you can get up to that morning routine and attack it with like the same energy and excitement. The other thing is skipping breakfast is a no-go. Like
Thank you.
am a big believer in eating breakfast,
Mhm.
especially for women. It helps set up our hormones to fight the rest of the day. I mean,
Yeah.
Melanie's the real expert there, but our hormones are constantly like doing these roller coasters throughout the day, and so if we can have a balanced breakfast in the morning, that is going to make our day so much smoother.
Mm-hmm.
Digital detox,
I know. We're
stepping
working on it.
away,
Yes.
stepping away, and like we're all at fault for it. And I've been trying to do this thing where I'm like if I'm at the airport or if I'm in a public place, of just observing. I'm like, put your phone away, because it's like
Same.
uncomfortable, right? Like sometimes you're like, oh, my comfort is to be on my device so that
Absolutely.
I don't look like the lonely person that's like looking around being weird.
Yeah.
But trying to talk to a stranger
Mm-hmm.
and just be, like, just try to be nothing. Try to, when you're driving, try no music.
Mm-hmm.
Try to just drive.
These are such good tips. And I just relate to you so much, little things. Like when I'm in line a lot, I challenge myself not to pick up my phone because I think, why do I need to be on my phone for the 2 minutes that I'm in line?
Yeah.
Like my brain can handle staying in line for 2 minutes without being on my phone. And I also hear so many studies about what creates your happiness in life are the little micro things that you do every day. And there's so many studies like showing that if you make micro connections, you smile at people in line, you're nice to someone, like you don't freak out when someone cuts you off. Yeah. There's so many studies that say that it's like those little things are what create like a happier person when you get to the dinner table.
So instead of looking at your phone, balancing on one foot or doing some,
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try
Yeah.
that. Okay.
or, just doing some like standing pedals with your feet, like bringing up to toe to heel and just, yeah.
These
Get
are
a little
good tips.
micro movement in instead.
Okay, I like this.
Yeah.
Now you're going to see me like standing on one foot while I chat with you at the grocery store.
I mean, I do that
I'll try
all the
it.
time. I
You
know.
do?
Yeah.
Okay, these are very good tips. Live well, lead well. We're all so excited about it. Talk to us about what is coming up and how we can get involved with you.
Yeah. So you can visit us at livewellleadwell.us. And so we have our Substack, we have our online membership, where there's free resources and downloadables. And then there's also, if you're a part of the membership, then you have access to like all of our grocery lists and weekly dinner menus and items like that.
What about your
Kind of-
walks?
Yeah.
When's the next recess
so
walk?
The Recess Club, you can go subscribe and sign up for free
Okay.
on melissacoulier.com. And then you'll just receive all of the information straight to your inbox monthly on where the meetup is. And all you have to do for that is just sign a waiver. So in case anything does happen.
Yes.
But don't worry, I also am certified in everything, and I will
Perfect.
be there
Yeah.
to rescue if needed. However, that's the only thing. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Free, meet up, come walk with us, and hang out and get in nature.
Can I come to one?
Please.
I want to come to one so
Please,
bad. This sounds
yes.
really fun. It's like getting outside, moving, and hanging
Yeah.
out with like-minded
Yeah.
women. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
Yes.
The name of this podcast is Water Your Garden. And the precipice is that every episode is a chance to water your own garden and pour into yourself.
Good.
What does that look like for you in your life? What is something that you do when you need to metaphorically water your own garden?
I love to learn. To water my own garden, it's a matter of like thinking about what I'd like to learn in order to expand my knowledge, in order to expand my impact.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of twofold, because the watering your garden, I want to say like get still, get quiet, because
Mhm.
that's where you really find the whispers and those voices to tell you, like, to listen to your gut, to maybe like go into X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of talked about
Yes.
that.
We have.
of,
Off mic we did,
that-
yeah.
Yeah. And then the next thing is like take those voices and translate them into something. So
Mhm.
whether that's, researching a certain topic, or taking a certain class, or diving into a course that speaks to you.
That's wonderful. I know I keep saying this. So many things that you say, I just relate to so much.
Right.
Part of starting this podcast was because to help myself get better, I started listening to wellness podcasts because I'm obsessed with learning and
Yeah.
improving
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
And I just relate to that so well. Melissa Coulier, you are pure joy. And I feel like you've given us so many tips that we can incorporate into our lives. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me, Sarah. I love this.
What an incredible episode with Melissa. If you took even one piece of advice away from this episode, which I know you did, I encourage you to share this with someone that you care about. And if you're local to Michigan, hopefully I see you at one of the upcoming recess clubs. I know that I'll be there. As always, thank you so much for watering your metaphorical garden with me. Love you guys.